unfreeze those. So let me come out onto the stage here. Let's get everything together. So this is the big conversation, where we will be deciding the kind of future path that the League will take. Including its ideology and things like that. We will be going over in kind of like, this is kind of just like a big Duma meeting, but everyone's allowed to speak. It is the simple way to describe this event. So, it's a very simple and quick proceeding, hopefully. So we're going to start with looking at the ideologies that have been suggested in the League Discord server. So the format for this event, which is, hang on. We'll start off with the latest ideology proposed, which is from Haifeng NG 2207, which they would like us to become a communist monarchy. I will now read out some information about their communist monarchy proposal. They would like to cross communism and constitutional monarchy together, the government would be a central committee and have a presidium of a Supreme Soviet, and things like that. So the way this is going to work is, if you have ideas or thoughts on the communist monarchy, you are invited to line up where those white barriers are at the front, if you would like to give your views on communist monarchy. If you want to say no to it, you should still stand up and line up and explain why you're saying no to it. So if you have viewpoints, please do line up, and we would like to hear your views on a communist monarchy. Sky, when it's your turn, please come up to the chairs here and speak. You can also ask questions, and I'll try my best to answer them, but I'm not responsible for these proposals, so I can't give you all the information you might want. Thank you, Sky, for that tagged viewpoint. Uh, 2020, we were not a communist monarchy, as much as that's a good question. That was not the IRF's ideology at all. But I think they want to mix. They want to mix the communist era that we had with monarchy. Is essentially what I'm trying to understand here. Yeah. Okay, orange friendly kitty. Yeah, okay. They say we already moved away from communism and moving back to it seems useless. Your username is Orange Friend Kitty. You will be called Orange Friend Kitty, because the event is streamed, so people need to know who you are. Okay, thank you for your feedback. I do agree with you. It's a bit of a mix-up. Stitch Rules 129. Yeah, the line is quite long if you're in game, so if you do have a question, can you please ensure that you pre-type it beforehand and have it copy and pasted or easily available, because we don't have a lot of time and we have quite a few proposals to go through from many members today. The idea of a communist monarchy simply conflicts with communist ideals. A communist monarchy isn't communist, says Stitch Rules 129. Thank you for your contribution. Samurai God 1 is asking a question that is not related to the topic, so can someone please get rid of them? If you're going to be stupid and come in and scream about ghosts being real and stuff when we're trying to have a serious conversation about kind of, you know, the future of the league, then you will just be kicked out. Okay, so Prez von Richthofen says, last I checked, Roblox isn't the biggest fan of communism, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons we had to switch ideologies, isn't it? That is correct, yes, Prez, that is exactly one of the reasons. Foxclaw529 is more sympathetic to the idea of monarcho-communism than most, as they find it silly and interesting. However, they feel that they should mention that Jagsop's cadets idea is an idea they feel fits very well with our new era. Your local coconut says the idea of a constitution. Okay, so thank you for your feedback, your local coconut. We're not actually taking ideas for new ideologies at the moment because they had to be submitted in advance. But I think someone has proposed a very similar thing in advance, so we'll be getting to that one later on in the event. The current topic is communist monarchy. Thank you very much for your question. Frostfire on YT believes a communist monarchy wouldn't work because historically communism marked the end of the Russian monarchy and it'd be weird to mix it with, and adding what Prez said about Roblox cracking down on that kind of thing. Yep, I agree. Thank you very much for your feedback. KCZJPUC says, if the lead becomes a communist, what do you plan after that? So, I don't think that's going to happen, if I'm being completely honest with you. Ice Ninja says, the aesthetic would be extremely appalling, but it would make no sense in relation to the law. I support it under the conditions of a reformation of the current law and a concept of the ideology. Thank you very much. Thank you for your feedback on that one. And then the Iskra minister is here. Communist monarchy just feels a bit like appealing to two groups at the same time while actually appealing to nobody. Okay, thank you very much for that feedback. Because there is no other feedback on this idea and no one stood up in line, we will now do a very simple procedure. If you support this proposal, please say I or yes in game. And if you disagree, please say no. I'm gonna say that the no's have that one. Yeah, the no's definitely have that one. So the idea of communist monarchy has been rejected and will not be taken forward. The next idea comes from Jagsop. And Jagsop is proposing Russian liberalism, which is based on the cadets. Jag, if you're here, would you like to come and explain your idea better than me? Because I don't really... Okay, Jag's going to do some typing now. Guess next to Wild. Says I'll now open the floor to anyone that wishes to have questions on this. So if you have a question, please do line up in the same place before, or if you'd like to give your views, again, please do line up and give your views as well. Please make sure you form an orderly line. And as stated last time, can you please ensure that you are in a if you have your question pre-typed, please. So okay, we'll take the first question here from anyone that's ready with the pre-typed from the ISKRA minister. The time period. So the time period remains the same as the IRF. So that would be the 19. Jag, I want to say it's 1954. Yeah, 1954.
Yeah.
KCZJPUC says they don't like it and it's a bad idea. Thank you very much for your feedback. Hundis Pro says, what are cadets? So what Jag means by cadets is he's taking inspiration from an old Russian political party. So just ignore the term cadets, so to speak, and focus on the main points of his ideas. Okay, just disappear then. That works. Pepito Games. So a multi-party system is not planned under any circumstances, but we are going to be allowing political groupings within the league. So these are groups that are in the league. Hello, you see me. So these are groups that would be within the league, and they would be supportive of the league, but would allow you to kind of explore different ideas. So, for example, like there can be a group about better news media. There can be a group about working on more tough security laws. There can be a group of people that are maybe not too keen on how we do businesses, for example. But we're not going to go out into all-out political parties, no. Frostfire on YT. No, it would not change ISKRA to be a whole new ministry. It would rename. It would be a rename. Stitch Rules 129. Are all of the party members permitted to be in different parties? So it's important to note that these aren't going to be different political parties. They're going to be political groupings. Which ones you can join would be up to the rules that those groupings set. So some might allow you to be in multiple, some might only allow you to be in one. But anyone will be able to join them, yes. Your local coconut from ISKRA. If the IRF has different groups and ideologies, I will have a feeling this will make everything much harder to overlook than in a one-party group system, and renaming everything, phew, hard work. So we will still have a one-party system. There will only ever be the League. There will just be groupings inside the League. So it's not going to be too difficult. There won't be you won't be electing a new Chancellor, you won't be electing things like that. That won't be happening. And you'll still vote for Duma candidates in the same way. Harold Eno 48. I feel like it in theory sounds good, but perhaps within practice it would be less than efficient. Thank you for your feedback. Foxclaw 529. I believe this is the ideal ideology for us to follow, as any other one proposed thus today is either low quality or falls into a pattern of LARP and nationalism with the traditional policies that do not far. Yes, I am concerned by some of the kind of extreme ideologies that people are proposing. I don't agree with those at all.
Do you mind if I cut in?
Yeah, no, sure. Chancellor? Yeah, sure, Vas. Go. Yeah. I was just reading your DM.
Oh, okay. I'll approach.
Yeah, Vas, come in. Vas is just going to steal the stand for a second here.
Yeah. So it's really important for we've done political parties before, and not like, and we allowed extremist ideology during that time. I know many of you weren't around in 2018, but it wasn't moderated enough, and very, very bad things resulted because of it. So it's better if we go with this groupings idea. I think that it's it's better because it gives you guys more of the freedom to explore, to explore groupings and advocate your causes. Um, so it's not a traditional, like, 100%, one party state. So, that's all I had. We've tried that before, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and the results were interesting, to say the least. It turns out that IRF members vote for some
Very
interesting things.
inactive Dumas.
Exactly. Salvus. Salvus has a question. Give me just 1 second. So Salvus's question is, they want to connect the ideology more with the military, a more loyalty-based, on the Tsar type of organ within the IRF. Question to Jag: how do you see this connecting? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jag. I'm gonna. Yeah. And Salvus also says that a more nationalist outlook fits a more authoritarian state than a very democratic and liberal ideology. So Jag says, okay, so the military will be serving the monarchy, sort of part of the monarchy, of which we'd work hand in hand with. And Jag says that will coexist with the autocracy. So Salvus says, by far, military would be disconnected from politics and rather work under the imperial house in your idea. And Jag says, well, the military is open to establish its own groupings whose interests align more with the Tsar, but it's overall up to the individual members. Ice Ninja says there is a great potential for political factions under this ideology. The broadness of political views that makes still maintain moderation overall makes me in support. Thank you very much. Samikane 4. Will we elect a new Supreme Marshal? The Supreme Marshal is not elected. It's never going to be an elected position. And the Ministry of Defence will not be made. No, we don't control the military. However, that's an important note on his question. And actually, I'd like to link this back to Salvus's question as well. What we do need to be doing is we need to make sure that the League is somewhere that accommodates both the government and the military, because we want anyone and everyone to be able to join the League and engage in a little bit of group politics. So we need to be careful here that we need to choose an ideology that will allow that to happen. And this guy's question is just, I've already said none of that's happening. I've said none of that's happening. So please. Let someone else ask a question. Thank you very much. Scare Phoenix 994 from Iskra. Part of the cadets. So part of the cadets were historically in support of the constitutional monarchy, so that makes sense. And transition to liberalism would be smoother than other alternatives given history of the country in law. says Scare Phoenix 994. Thank you very much, Scare Phoenix, for your feedback. Your local coconut from Iskra. A more military-like system would be good, where everything is more militarized, like in Germanica. A monarch. I don't want to praise them. I just want to name an example. A monarchist military regime. So, just to answer that, the League and kind of government side of the group will never be returning to any sort of militarist ideals after the merge. That will not be happening. The branches are very much separate cultures. What we need to find is things that kind of bind them together, and their engagement in politics might be a key part of that. But thank you for your feedback. Thank you. Osborners. Horrible idea. Thank you for your feedback. Prez, can we? There we go. Frost Soldier 55. Sammy Kane 4 is the last question. So royal families will be allowed to create through MOEA. Not necessarily royal families. Obviously, you are entitled to make a family at the moment through the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Transportation. You're more than welcome to do that if you meet the criteria. And that's part of our kind of rollout of the new Imperial family system, which we will be releasing more information on in the next week or so. But royal families are limited to, I think at the minute it's 3 or 4 families that are only royal in a sense. But the rest of the families are kind of lesser in status. Yes, hello Sammy Kane 4. I think we should add people who pass Game Pass have tempo admission. Okay, so that's a development suggestion, but I'd like to thank you for raising that issue. There are a lot that we need to do to deal with kind of the increase in RK from admissions, Game Pass and cadets, because I agree with you, it has been on the rise recently, and we do need to look at doing something better with that. So thank you for raising that issue yet again, but we do need to do something about that. Yes, I'm aware they do leave because of that, and we are going to take care of it because I see it. I know it's a problem. Yes, thank you very much for your feedback. Okay, so we'll now repeat the process again. All of those in favour of Jag's proposal, please say aye or yes. All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the ayes have that one. So let me just explain what this means. Just because we voted yes on that one, it does not mean that we are choosing it. It means that it will be put through to the final vote of everyone in the IRF, which will be held as a referendum in-game, like before, because that's how we're going to choose this. So that one has gone through. If someone can make a note of that from the Chancellery, please. Okay, the next proposal is Imperialist Nationalism from Ice Ninja. I will quickly explain this one. So it's a mix of political positions. It believes in harsh security laws and an inherently authoritarian government based around the idea of kind of defending the restored monarchy. On economics, they would like a kind of a free market capitalist economy with land and industry granted by families. And so I'm assuming this proposal would be very friendly to kind of the economic affairs system that we have at the moment. On policy, they would like social laws to be traditionalist with no questions. They say that a liberal democratic monarchy would be a bit boring and doesn't work well with the theme of a restored Russian Empire. They would also like to note that this proposal does support political factions, and it also may include pan-Slavism or Eurasianism to justify imperialism. If you have questions or comments, please line up at the line like before. Again, I must ask all of you, please only ask one question or comment and have it pre-typed beforehand, because we cannot be sat here for about 60 years. So we'll start with this first person, please. Okay, never mind. Next, it's Roblox Lover 3350. I don't think it would. I don't think it would affect disciplinary systems already in place. I think it would be quite supportive of those. I think the kind of strict aspect of it is more on the enforcement side. So more offences being detected and civilian laws being a bit harsher when it comes to protesting and things like that. I don't think it means kind of our internal civil service procedures. Folklore 529 says this is an incredibly LARPy idea. The traditional policies in particular makes them dislike the idea, and I feel like it's asking for children to become annoying nationalists. Thank you very much for your concerns. Your local coconut from Iskra. It would be great if families could mobilise their own infantries and small armies. Okay, that's not related to this current ideology. We already allow families to have small security departments. The only families that will be allowed to have kind of militias or little militaries are the kind of royal families of the IRF, which more information on those will be announced in the next week or two. The proposal has been written, we just need to get it put through and published. But thank you for your feedback. Stitch Rules 129. No, just no. Thank you very much for your feedback. New Dev, Deputy Minister of the Chancellery. They are not going to lie. Democracy in Roblox doesn't work well, so I am a big fan of authoritarian systems. Authoritarian systems work best when competent people are picked. Now, I do agree with that comment. Do civilians get any rights if this happens? Yes, we will maintain rights for civilians, KZ, JED, JPUC.
Not the homeless.
Not the homeless. We already don't give rights to homeless. Take a citizenship test if you want rights. They're free. Okay, that's again a development suggestion. I can't take those during this event, and you are advised to use bug reports in the main Discord for those. I can't take those in this event. Sorry. Estland Poms. Do you get blacklisted if you are in EIG? Says that's not a question for this event. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's all the questions for this event. So we will now take a vote. All those in favour of the imperialist national proposal from Ice Ninja, please say aye in chat. All those opposed say nay. Okay, that is a fairly equal balance of people. I will have to go and review the stream later to see if that is ayes or nays. But for now, we'll say that it's a no until I review the stream. Why not? No, that's a good question. It's because it's not here, and it's also because we're trying to have like a cool LARPy town hall style event where people like scream yes or no. just because it's quite a nice idea. Okay, the next proposal is from Eric Zhang, from the Special Detective Unit, and Eric is proposing a benevolent dictatorship. And that this would be a government in which the authoritarian leader establishes absolute political power, but is perceived to do so for the benefit of the population as a whole. Standing in contrast to a dictator that, focuses on their supporters and self-interests. A benevolent dictator may allow for some civil liberties or democratic decision-making to exist, such as through public referendums or elected representatives with limited power, and can make preparations for a transition to genuine democracy during or after their term.
I don't want my head cut off, so yes.
Frizz will approve if Frizz gets full power. I already have more than enough power. Eric, sure, if you want to come up on the stage and give some additions to your proposal, that's more than welcome. Okay, thank you, Eric. This is why Roblox needs to build a feature that tells you if your message is going to be just completely tagged.
Straight up, he's like the Iskra radio at Papers can do it.
So, okay, I think I know what you're saying, Eric. This is going to be somewhat similar to Singapore in some aspects. Is that what you're trying to say? Eric says the head of the civil government gets absolute political power, while the head of state still leads the nation as a whole. So this is also similar to our current system in terms of power structure. Thank you, Eric, for that good proposal. I think this is a good proposal, obviously. So, does anyone have any questions or concerns or comments on this proposal? Please make sure that these are pre-written in advance and are not going to take ages. One question per person, and Stitch Rules is the last person that will be asked a question because the line is now closed. So, Foxclaw, yes, please use your question. Also, can state security stop shooting innocent people? And allow people to sit on the raised seating at the back, please. Thank you. Foxclaw says, I would like to say this is a good proposal, but I do again worry that people will see the word dictatorship and mindlessly click yes for it. I primarily just hate the LARP that can be attracted. Thank you very much, Foxclaw. Frostfire on YT from Iskra. Who gets the power, the Chancellor or the Tsar? So, I think under Eric's system, it's very much similar to the current system. So the Tsar can do anything anyway, but the Chancellor gets every piece of political power, kind of government power. So the power over the ministries, the power over the political parties and stuff like that, to run it efficiently. So that's essentially our current system anyway. Oh dear.
Nicholas began to do this, but then backed out because he was a coward.
Osborners. What? Jack in the Box? No, I'm not being elected. I have no intention to become elected either.
Ordained by God as the Tsar was.
I have a concern about this, says your local coconut. To elect people in Parliament, to elect people that represent you and vote for you in Parliament is a system that my country has used for decades, and it's always caused havoc. Yes, thank you, your local coconut. I am just going to have to suspend this meeting for around 5 minutes due to a security concern that's just happened. So we will reconvene in 5 minutes' time. Thank you very much for your patience. So I'd like to thank everyone there for the patience, just cleaning up something that was going on there, which will have to be addressed after this concludes. But I refuse to cancel this event because we're getting through business here. and we need to get going with stuff. So, Sammy Kane 4, please carry on. Let's go ahead and continue. We should add platoons. Again, that's also a development idea. Well, that's an idea for Salvus. That's not something that we can do. So I recommend you address those concerns in the next Military Supreme Command meeting, which I believe is on Friday. Electing a new Tsar. Don't think that one's going to work out. What if the government starts abusing power? What do we do? Says Sage P. Yabuk. Well, nothing. If I start abusing my power, then you can speak to Vass, but that's not. I don't really abuse it, so. Ice Ninja says tags. Dragadel. So basically, government takes all the function and responsibility from the Tsar. So already, I kind of that is essentially my job definition is to run the government on behalf of Vass, Frost, etc. So yes, in a way, yes, that is exactly what it would be. Eric says, what does Eric say? Yes, thank you, Eric. I think we've kind of got that piece together. Thank you. So the current kind of year of the IRF is 1954, and we intend to stay on in that kind of. Not 1954. That wouldn't be World War II. No, that would be Cold War. So the IRF has always been a federation. Yes. Yeah, and we'll stay a federal. We're a federal monarchy, so we remain a federation. Where we began to change years. So the law was redecided. The law was redecided around a week or two ago. I'm not sure what your question is, sorry. Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Arif QO. Hello. Yes, thank you. That's not a question relating to the ideology change, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to answer it here. It's one question per person, sorry. Yeah, we are still Russia, yes, but it is one question per person. Sammy Kane 4. That again is not a question relating to the ideology change. If people continue to ignore the fact that I've said that it just needs to be questions relating to the ideologies we're discussing, then I will unfortunately have to end question taking because people don't seem to be getting it. The next... we need to do a vote on this one. All of those in favour of Eric Zhang's benevolent dictatorship idea, please say aye. And those opposed, please say nay. The nays have it on that one. The nays have it on that one. The idea of benevolent dictatorship has been voted down by the conference of the party. The next idea is being vetoed by me because, and I will be here, it contains a bald eagle, a football, a US flag, and in capital letters the words capitalist democracy. No. On this one, that one is being vetoed. We're not having that one.
Disgusting.
This next ideology is called idea. So we will also be going over this. Well, not going over this one because I don't really think we can discuss idea. The next one is from Mittens, BFF8, member of the Duma. And it is the People's Democratic Dictatorship. I will now read out the information relating to this proposal. The highest members of the League vote for someone to represent the party on their behalf. This system enacts harsher security for the reason that the system is harsh on saying things in the same place. Most of the idea is giving the higher-up Senate or cabinet powers to vote ahead of government. Mittens, that's not an ideology. I'm unfortunately going to have to tell you. And my position cannot be elected due to how that's gone in the past. So I'm going to have to say no to that one before a vote because of that. The next idea is there's something here called Noskism. We'll now discuss Noskism. Noskism is the ideology of the Nosk Empire. It centers on allegiance, sacrifice, and commitment to freedom from real-life obligations like religion and philosophy. Followers prioritize activity, productivity, and refrain from opposing high-ranking officials, especially in ways that could cause real harm. Civilian interference in state law is discouraged without authorized avenues such as petitions or referendums. Active participation in events and collective productivity for mutual benefits are the fundamental principles of Noskism. Does anyone have any questions on Noskism? Yep, Alshita. Okay. I don't know. Noskism. So basically it's a proletarian dictatorship. Who's this guy? Okay. Noskism. I'm not overly sure, but it does sound very similar to those kind of ideas. It does kind of sound very similar. But we'll have the next question, please. Thank you, Scare Phoenix. In one sentence, can I describe this ideology? No, because I didn't come up with it, so I can't give you. Your local coconut says a state of culture and religion that's not going to work with Roblox. We also have different religions and cultures, and maybe a culture or religious belief offends someone. Thank you, your local coconut. Very sorry about that. What was your question? Sorry? Arif QI? Does this ideology not overlap with Roblox's censorship? Yeah, so that's a good point, and I think some of these ideologies might potentially be against those rules. So we will have to look at those before we put them on the ballot. Thank you. Next, please. Foxclaw, thank you. Like I said, this one seems a lot of waffling and not a lot of substance. Yes, thank you very much. I agree, and I do concur. Obox 100. How does it aim to increase productivity? I wish I could tell you. I have read out all of the information I have got. Ice Ninja. The Nosk Empire is some other group. The Advocate is a HC member. So what you're telling me is that this is a foreign idea. Well, we can't be having that. No. We'll get rid of this one. We can't be having foreign ideologies in the league. No.
Here.
Blue, what's your question? How does this affect the fishing season? Blue, I have explained the rules about 4 times now, and you've actually announced them 3 times. No, it's one question. That was your one question. Blue, that was your one question. Thank you very much. Next person, please. Eric. Isn't this basically the German ideology came up with by... I'm going to guess that's the Mustache Man, Eric? Is that the Mustache Man you're trying to refer to? Yeah. With a different religious take. I do not think it can end well. Yeah, okay, I see that. Okay, we'll do a vote on this one, but I have a feeling it's going to be a no. So all those in favour say aye. Yeah, seems popular. All those against say no. Yeah, I think this one's a no. This one has failed. Okay, and last but not least, we will go to Alcater's suggestion, which is called Ideology Idea. So it doesn't have a name, but it is, they would like security to be harsher, but security laws should be less, and they would like the in-game economy to be open a bit more, with a mix of both liberal and traditionalist policies in certain areas. So very simple here, but any questions on this one? What's your question? So yeah, and this is something that developers are looking at as well. We would really like to expand it so the in-game economy has more opportunities for everyone. So you can buy and sell things in-game, a bit more expansion of the store and stuff. Your local Blue Blue feels as if this ideology lacks substance and depth. The concept of harsher security with less security laws is a binary opposition. Thank you, Blue. I do see that point, yes. Your local coconut. What do you think does Liberal mean in in-game economy? More shops. Yeah, so it will mean more shops, more opportunity for you to spend your money. It will mean more more things for you to do. You can trade things like that. Okay, Foxclaw, and then this is the last question, please. Foxclaw agrees with Blue and feels like we must have a higher bar for these ideologies. Thank you very much. Okay, so no, that was the last question. Obox, that was the last question. I did say last question. So we will now take a vote on this one. All those in favour, please say aye. And all those opposed, please say nay. That one's going to be a no. So the two proposals that I will be putting forward to a public referendum will be the following, as chosen. We will be taking a vote on Russian liberalism, and then because no other ideology received a sufficient amount of votes, we will also be taking a vote on Eric Zhang's benevolent dictatorship idea. We will also be taking a vote on the just on those two, to decide. So let me explain what will happen from this point onwards, as Jag has very nicely, as just suggested in my direct messages, the creators of these ideologies, so that's Jag and Eric, will be required to put forward a manifesto in time for the referendum, which I will schedule when I receive those manifestos. Detailing what specifically this will mean for the League, what policies they would like to propose, and things like that. These proposals and referendum documents will be made available to you for 1 week. Once the week has passed, there will be a referendum at the end where you will vote in-game, and you can pick the idea that you think is best. The one with the most amount of votes will win. Okay, the next segment of this event that we will be moving on to is we will be looking at we're not going to take feedback on the discipline and administrative proposals because this is now an IRF wide event. I will now like us to look at taking proposals from people. So if anyone has a proposal that they think that the government needs to do, or in fact that the military needs to do, or anything in the IRF as a whole, as long as it's not development related. So please do not give suggestions on improving papers or Sevastopol, because things like that, we can't take those in this event. They have to be put in the suggestions channel, please. But if you have a proposal for the military, or for the government, or for any other part of the IRF, please line up now, approach the stage, and tell us a bit about your idea. We'll take the next question, please. A dynasty-like system which could be classified as a monarchy within the current parliamentary system, like in North Korea, would be good. Thank you, your local coconut. That feedback will be passed on to the people that are making the manifestos, and they can consider kind of mixing that into their ideas. So thank you very much for that feedback. Oblox has 2 proposals. Prez, do not say, "Oh God, not you" to Oblox. Oblox is a distinguished member of the IRF. As much as he might look a bit stupid at the minute. What are your proposals, Oblox? Get rid of the government. Well, I don't think we're going to be doing that. Yeah, can we get rid of Obox? Thank you. Someone remove him. And no more questions. Yeah, no more questions from Obox. Sammy Kane 4. I think so. You should have that a small. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing, Sammy. There is a bill before the Duma today, actually, that will be voted on in a few hours' time. That will allow the creation of these smaller little political groups. So that should be coming very soon, actually. No, the requirements won't be that strict. They're going to be a bit lower than that, and it will be decided on by the Election Administrations Commission. So they'll have the final decision on if someone gets to make a political grouping or not. So the bill's being voted on later today, in a few hours' time, and then if it passes, I will sign it on either Monday or Tuesday. So the information on how it will be done will be announced when the bill passes. There will be an announcement at the time. Thank you very much for your questions. Eric would like to propose that all law enforcement and disciplinary personnel are not permitted to join the resistance team, even off duty. That's already a rule, Eric. Partially. But I see your point. And I'll actually have that put down for the cabinet agenda to kind of make it a clearer rule. You're not allowed to be an edict, but you can raid off duty. But we'll put that down on the cabinet agenda. Blue, can you take a note of that, please, for the cabinet agenda? The league, so Stitch Rules said that the league should require an IQ test in order to join the ministry. Right, so that's an interesting proposal, to say the least. I certainly think that we need to weed out some of the people that shouldn't be in the government and are not very intelligent in terms of that kind of respect. But I agree with you that we do need to kind of, we need to reduce the amount of not idiots, but people that don't need to be here. An exam on government law. That is going to be coming soon. That will be coming soon, yes. I have spoken to the Education Minister about that, and I've said to the Education Minister that they are... we need to look at educating officers, senior civil servants better, but we also need to be looking at how we train lower ranks better as well. Obox, I'm just going to warn you now, since I know you're in VC, if you carry on disturbing this event, I will personally ban you from the Council Discord and remove your retired veteran status. So stop disturbing the event, please. So thank you, ArivQ, for this feedback about the military abusing in-game all the time. I have spoken to Salvis about it because we do both agree that it is an issue, and military police need to be in-game more to kind of help with this enforcement. As Prez is saying, that Ministry of State Security can now kind of can enforce as well, so you should be seeing that easier. And they would also like to propose that it's harder to get into the NCO program. Is that for the military? The military NCO program, is that? Sorry. Oh, no, okay. Yep. Thank you. I will pass that feedback on. Blue, take a note of that one as well. You propose that we put more money into the military, at least 6 million. 6 million. 6 million what? $6 million Robux. Vass, do we have 6 million Robux?
Oh yeah, that's chump change. Especially now that we're in the monarchy's restored, we actually have 60 million Robux. So yeah, that's chump change. Let me get right on that, Salvus. I'll be writing your check tonight.
6 million Robux. What are we gonna get with that? Buy some people the Juggernaut Game Pass. AAABBBCCC 123456781. That is an awful username. Pace is not working. I'm just going to ask Jag to temporarily step in. Jag, do you mind just quickly taking some of these questions? Just for a moment, please. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take over, Jack. Thank you. So I agree with you. I just had a quick read there. There is still a problem with high command inactivity, especially in the government. Ministers and things like that are great at representing themselves in game, in Discord, sorry, but they're not really picking up the pace in game. And what we need to do is we need to look at better ways to fix that. So what I'm going to propose, and I will speak to the cabinet about this later. So Blue, can you note this down for me? Is I'm going to propose that we extend a universal patrol quota to everyone in the executive civil service of at least 45 minutes a week. At least. Because there isn't any excuse on this. If I can manage to get in game for about 4 or 5 hours a week with an entire government to run, I think that people with a lot less responsibilities can do a bit more than they do at the minute. So yes, I do agree with you, that's a big problem, and we will look into that. Thank you very much. It's low ranks universally, Eric. The document doesn't specify. It's more, so that's a good question, and it's because we wouldn't really have anything for them to do. We can't really just create more high command roles, because they need to have responsibilities and things like that. So we can't just create more. Yes, we can agree that Game Pass admissions abuse a lot. Is there a way to limit this? We are going to look at... So this is... I agree with you. And Wild has been championing this very strongly for admissions. We cannot abolish the Game Pass. I've explained this in general before, and I'll explain it again now. So we can take the Game Pass off sale. We can do that in 2 minutes. The problem is, we have to give the people that bought the Game Pass before those benefits. Still, we have to keep their benefits at the same level. They paid to run the booth, so we would have to keep that benefit for everyone that's bought it up until this point. So you would still have admissions Game Passes in game. You'd have about 3 or 4 years worth, of admissions Game Passes. So we'd have to keep the team anyway. So we may as well, now it's there, we may as well just keep it. But there are things that we can do. So yes, we can limit the functions that Game Passes have. We can limit the guns they get. We can limit how much ammo they get and things like that. And we are looking into these because we agree that it causes a problem with people joining and leaving and things like that. So we will look into those for you. But please just be aware that it's something we are very much looking into, because we've now got, we've got the nice stores and stuff in game, but people are leaving because they can't get through the border because they get killed by missions or things like that, or cadets, things like that. So we are looking at those. Yeah. The last question, I'm sorry, is going to be from Stitch Rules. Stitch Rules is going to be the last question. I'm very sorry. MOSS LRs can enforce on most government low ranks, yes, in the disciplinary code. Okay, well, I would like to thank everyone for attending this event today. It's been an hour and 24 minutes. It's been a long one, but I think we've made some great progress and collectively deciding the future of the league. I would like to thank everyone for attending. And the next event is the meeting of the Federal Cabinet, which takes place in 2 hours' time at this very room, actually. So I will see you all then, and thank you very much for attending. Yeah, you can all leave now. Thank you very much.